What is going on, snipers? Naeem Al-Obeidi here. I hope you're all enjoying your day today. Let's go ahead and just dive right into our daily cryptocurrency content and analytics for today. We're going to be talking about a controversial topic that I've seen strolling around the news sites, which is, did EOS cause the cryptocurrency market to crash? EOS, if you don't know, saw one of the most impactful losses in the CoinGrail hack that occurred in the past 24 hours that is leading towards this market crash. You can see here in the Bitcoin US dollar chart on the daily, we've broken out of this forming pennant or this wedge, and that is a very bearish sign. We're actually going to be doing a collaboration with our analyst later in this video to talk about what we're expecting for Bitcoin over the next couple of weeks. But first, let's talk about some headlines here. You can see here, looking at our new feature on Discord. If you guys don't know, we are doing airdrops. So while the market is in this phase of, I would call, correction, one thing you can do to still earn and diversify your portfolio is take advantage of these airdrops that happen every single day. So we're actually going through airdrops, and I found one by a company called Internext, and I went and I looked more into their application. I actually reached out to them for a sponsorship, and I want to talk about this application because one thing that I've realized in the cryptocurrency world is a lot of us are invested in cryptocurrencies, but we're not necessarily using the technology. And I don't know if you guys use Dropbox or any other cloud service, but Internext is the next Dropbox in the decentralized cryptocurrency sphere. And what's cool about it is they do have an email list and a beta coming out in Q3. So go to the link in the description below to sign up to their email list if you guys would like to get 50 free INXT tokens every week. I think they do a giveaway to certain email list subscribers, and then you guys can get first access to that beta. But what I would definitely recommend is utilizing any decentralized applications you guys can find, because understand that this is a revolution, just like the internet, and you need to make a transition with the technology that you're currently using if you really want to see true mass adoption within the cryptocurrency sphere. So looking at the total market, we can see here in the past 7 days, the majority of coins are down 10% or over 10%. And what's interesting is you can see here, the majority of these coins are not necessarily seeing the type of volume that we saw in early January or late December. And I think a reason for that is we're not necessarily seeing as many investors excited about this market as we're in this middle period of regulation starting to form. And we're going to be talking to one of our analysts at Sniperstube about this as we do the collaboration with our technical analyst later in this video, and what the sentiment is going to turn into over the next couple of months and what we're expecting as we start moving into Q3 of 2018. You can see here with a headline, Binance Cash to crypto integration starts in 2018. I think this here is a factor that is going to lead us to eventually see true mass adoption. What's also cool here is you can see Binance here has quadrupled its user base since January. So it's kind of weird, right? We're seeing a lack of volume, but then again, you can see here it says the platform now has 9 million users, up from a bit more than 2 million in January. It just doesn't make sense, right? So you can see here it says Binance's daily trading volume will likely see a significant bump in the near future as the exchange is preparing to roll out its first fiat trading pairs. So I don't know what you guys think about this, but I'm excited for Binance to release these fiat trading pairs because we have a ton of traders sitting on the sidelines, more than we had during the rally that we saw in December and January. But we're not seeing as much volume right now in the market. I think adding crypto fiat pairings, allowing some of these cryptocurrencies to detach themselves from their strong correlation to Bitcoin, is going to allow this market to truly see the rise that we're expecting to see, because I still expect a $1 trillion market cap. I don't see this as a completely detrimental thing to the market, but it is a cause of concern in the short term. And I'm going to talk about how you can secure your positions and play this market in the best way possible. But I want to do that with our technical analyst as we transition into that collaboration. But our final headline here, EOS takes the biggest blow from the CoinGrail hack. It's kind of our topic of this video. Did EOS cause this market crash? So several different things happening with EOS over the past couple of weeks. EOS's mainnet launching over the past 48 hours with a all right launch. They had a huge bug with their voting system that people are criticizing them about. But most importantly, the cool thing about EOS is the fact that not only did their mainnet launch, but they are a competitor and a direct competitor to Ethereum. And people are saying that EOS sold a ton of Ethereum, causing Ethereum to crash, which also could have correlated to the market crash that we've seen recently, because this just wasn't normal. Like the RSI here, you can see it went above 40, it went into the neutral zone, but then out of nowhere it crashed. And that's an obvious form of manipulation. You can see here with this large candlestick of sell volume definitely manipulation. We're going to be talking about that in just a sec. But you can see here it says CoinRail hack has devastated the markets over the last 24 hours. As we obviously know, EOS has seen the most significant hit as a result of this activity. So I want to hear what you guys think in the chat and in the comments below about EOS. We're going to get our technical analyst on the line. His profession here is pretty much to help all of our traders on our Discord with as much possible insight and information. I'm going to get him on the call right now. We're going to have a little bit of a discussion here with our technical analyst. Let's get him on here. And how are you all doing here on the live stream, by the way? I see we have a ton of people online. What is up, man? How are you doing?
Hey, what's going on, brother?
Nothing much. We're just looking at Bitcoin here, and I know you've had a huge presence in our Discord, and I wanted to get your opinion, on the live stream about what you think is happening to the market right now. I've got a Bitcoin chart pulled up, and we're looking at this wedge that we've just broke. I know you've talked about this 1 week chart, and what I really like about your analysis is you look at the 1 week chart and you see this obvious wedge, and we've definitely broke bearish downwards. And looking at the daily chart, you can see it's the same exact thing. So what are your opinions on this, knowing that you've been helping all of our members in our community Discord over the past few weeks? What are your thoughts on this, man?
Yeah, right now I'm sitting patient right now, feet on the sidelines, anticipating the next move. Right now I'm waiting for volume to come in for confirmation before getting into this market right now. So right now we did have that bounce at 6.5 roughly, or 6.6, and that bounce to me didn't indicate a very strong reversal. With looking at the macro of the market, looking at the weekly and the monthly, seeing that wedge did break. We were anticipating that break a few days ago. We went ahead and let everybody know to protect that potential probability was possible. There wasn't any guarantees in the market. There's never any guarantees, but probability-wise, it did look like we were going to see that break. So right now, we're just anticipating right now, the next move, and then looking essentially and analyzing. So we're trying to protect everybody, play defense. Currently, a lot of people are buyers in this market, so we want to make sure we protect everybody at the end of the day. So with us breaking outside that trend line on the weekly and in addition to the monthly, looking at Bitstamp and looking at the future, right now we're basically awaiting the next move, whether or not it's going to come down for a big spike and potentially catch orders, buy the discount, and then continue up, or we're going to see if there's a continuation move to the downside as well. So when structure is broken like that on the monthly, the weekly, and vice versa, we're going to see right now if we're going to sit sideways on the daily for that possible bullish reversal. Right now, though, I have money on the sidelines anticipating a continuation down. Any point in time, though, the market could go up a couple $100, potentially fake everybody out, make a wick, and then sit sideways. So that's what I'm looking for right now.
And I see someone here on the chat, they just said here, what do we do during these market crashes if we have a diversified portfolio? So good question. If you guys are on our live chat, feel free to ask questions for our analyst or I. But what I will say for me personally, one way that I protect myself during these moments of, I would say, cycles where we're going towards the latter part of the cycle where we're going down, what I like to do is to consolidate my portfolio into asset classes that I can manage properly. Like, for example, if you have 15 or 20 coins right now, what you can do, instead of selling those coins, you could sell them for Bitcoin, so you still have stake in the market, and the whole market typically follows Bitcoin anyways, and now you're able to trade all of those funds that were previously diversified into 15 different coins, trade them with one asset class so that you're able to control your portfolio while we watch the market and see when it's going to start heading up. What do you think about that, man?
I 100% agree at this point in time. It is important to watch the majors. Right now, the majors do control the move. Bitcoin does run the market. Anything attached to Bitcoin is going to inversely affect the alts. So in times like this, what we want to do to protect is we want to either, if you want to hold your positions, you can. Just know that the capitulation factor of Bitcoin can come into play, and if a Bitcoin makes like another, let's say another.
What do you mean by what do you mean by the capitulation factor?
Just
for people that don't understand that.
Let's say Bitcoin makes a bottom here, and then they do the run up, they trap everybody at the high, and then it continues lower with a false move. If that move comes into play, the market does take let's say it just goes down another $1,000, $500, whatever the number is, it breaks the low. Alts are going to capitulate even faster than any other coin in the market as far as the majors go. Bitcoin might be down 3 or 5% one day. but the alts will capitulate, as in the price value of them will go down significantly in most cases. Maybe not EOS, something like that, a strong coin where there's a lot of volume back behind it. But if it is a certain alt that is not traded, a lot of people will exit their positions into Tether and vice versa and go back to Bitcoin to get the dip and then to ride it back up.
You mentioned EOS, so knowing that that's kind of the title of our video, what is your thoughts on the whole controversy of EOS causing this market crash by them selling off Ethereum, by them, being the, worst affected by the CoinGirl hack? I mean, what's your opinion on EOS and its, relationship with Ethereum, and what causations do you think are going to occur because of EOS entering this de-application market platform with this, quote unquote Gen 3 technology?
Yeah, so right now, EOS, there's a lot of volume on it. There's a lot of money invested into EOS, and it is having a controlled factor with Ethereum because Ethereum would have had to have been bought up. Ultimately, when the price did turn, EOS did turn at the same exact time. So there's definite correlation, more than likely in my opinion, just by looking at volume and looking at the sentiment of the market. And then, of course, we did take a look at the EOS. We looked at that 14,000 buy. Took it up a little bit higher. I expected it to go a little bit higher, or a little bit lower rather, before it did the reversal, and it did just continue to spike up. But when that spike was put into place, it went right into an area considered to be a good sell zone, kind of how Bitcoin did it, where it made the swing high. It went up to the moon, if you will, and then came back down, and then came back up for the retest. As soon as that retest breached, that's when the market started to do funny things, if you will. So right now I'm watching EOS to see how it does affect the market. Right now, though, it's pretty probable that EOS is having some institutional, or not institutional, but a significant impact. So just to give you an example, roughly about 10% of, or 10 holders hold about 50% of the price. So that comes into play with the manipulation sentiment. We did a little bit of research here, went into the fundamental analysis and released that for our members, just showing that EOS does have roughly about 10 people that own about 50% of the coin. So either there's two things with that in mind. There's one, that there's 10 individuals that believe in the project so much that they bought up this much coin, or they bought it to manipulate the price, take it up to the sky like we usually see on alts, and then furthermore let go of their position to take it the other direction and release their profits, or take their profits and then release it, and maybe even go the other direction. Who knows at the end of the day, but
Absolutely. And somebody just mentioned, where do you post the fundamental analysis? And I'll let everyone know, we have a Discord group, so the link is in the description below if you guys are part of our Patreon, and you guys can get on our Discord group. We have a premium version as well, where we have analysts posting 24/7 market updates, so you guys are able to stay up to date. You're actually the one who added the airdrop alerts. Could you talk about why you think airdrops are important and what you see the opportunity of airdrops in this marketplace?
Oh, exactly. So right now what we're doing is we're dropping ICO airdrops, basically coins that are still in ICO phase, but basically the companies are giving out incentive just simply for some task, whether or not it's an email, it's just to join a Telegram group and vice versa, and they're releasing anywhere from, USD value, anywhere from $10 to $100 in value, sometimes more, sometimes less. Reason why we're looking at that significantly is because of Neo at one point in time was given away in the same scenario. It was an ICO. It was given away roughly about 200 coins. At present time, that value was only roughly in the maybe $20 range. But then Neo had that spike, similar to how Ethereum had that spike, and they went from sub pennies all the way up to, I believe, $80. So the people that did get that free airdrop, that just simply participated, I believe it was an email address at the time, it could have been a Telegram. Simply join the Telegram group. They received those coins, and the people that did hold them, the present value of that value was roughly in the $4,000 to $5,000 range just from holding that for 1 year. So the whole idea behind the ICO airdrops are not only to capitalize by getting a free coin, but in addition to that, if the project looks solid, it looks premium, and there's a lot of investors behind it, there's a roadmap, and then furthermore, a lot of projects in depth. Stuff like that, you can pick it up and then of course hold the coins at free value, so you can basically create a mini portfolio that could potentially increase in the future. So there's a lot of things that are given out. Credits was one, a pretty probable one that was given out here, and then there's a couple ICOs furthermore that are coming out, that are constantly, they have to do marketing at the end of the day, and they have to increase their following. So what they'll do a lot of the times, they'll give you free coin, and what we do is we look out for those opportunities to where we can get in and capitalize just by, it's like I said, simply an email address, something small of the task. Some will give you hundreds of dollars to do a video simply on a coin, doing an in-depth analysis on it simply. So there's a lot of value within that, a lot of value within the airdrops, especially, at the end of the day, if you can build a portfolio for free, or, rather a couple of minutes of your time to build a portfolio, what you're going to do is definitely take that opportunity, because like I said, the Neo opportunity and a few others, they've held out significantly. Just catching one of those, if you catch the right opportunity one time, a couple hundred coins of the right project, that could potentially be worth hundreds, if not thousands of dollars, and that was what we saw in Neo.
I've got a couple of objections here on the live chat. Let me mention them. So one person, and I think that's all great. Thank you for talking about that. And I actually think this is interesting, though. So somebody, neonvisual.com, says, the 10 larger EOS wallets are mainly exchanges, by the way. They can't vote in the mainnet launch. And then Thyri Studman also says here, you simply forgot that some of these tokens are held by the exchanges. And then Mad Mining says, how can you tell whether it's an exchange or individual that holds the EOS token? So what is your thoughts on that? Whether those tokens are held by exchanges and it's acting as almost like this custom, delegate type of system where you've got delegates representing the majority of those coins but don't have voting power. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's 100% correct. That's 100% a possibility at the end of the day. We don't know. At the end of the day, we're speculating. So we have to keep that in mind. So at any point in time, that could be valid, that could be true. Just know whenever the price is significantly in one direction and vice versa, there's a lot of times funny things happen in the market. So that's ultimately what we're using that analysis, that sentiment for, looking for those opportunities to capitalize in both directions, whether or not we're buying or we're selling. Vice versa. So absolutely.
And somebody's asking where those airdrop alerts are located. If you guys go on patreon.com/snipers and you guys are rubies and above, that's going to unlock the airdrop alerts for you all. And if you guys are golds, you should have access to that for now during the trial run. Somebody says here, exchanges can manipulate prices to very probable. They can push the price down, buy up, and they bring the price back up, I suppose. And I know you've talked about that in the past, Kyle. Like, you're really big on institutional manipulation. What is your thoughts on institutional manipulation in this market, and do you really see it affecting this market?
100%. So there is manipulation that's been seen multiple times. So whenever think about it every single day, whether or not we make money is in question, but the people that make money every single day consistently are going to be the exchanges like BitMEX, Bitfinex. Whenever you take a position, they capitalize off of you entering the position. They make a fee. They make that in Bitcoin. Furthermore, when your account gets liquidated, or they liquidate, or they stop on orders, they go ahead and they accrue fees in addition to that as Bitcoin. So every single day, whether or not the market's going up or it's going down, they're making profit every single day.
Do you think there should be a law in place where exchanges aren't allowed to speculate, if or trade, through speculation? Do you think that would be fair?
100%. That's where we're headed right now. Basically, they have a significant amount of power. They make Bitcoin every single day, and when we see a lot of like stop hunts, like 5.8K and vice versa, a lot of the times what they'll do, when everybody stacks in one direction, if the market's continuously going down or it's continuously going up, what they'll do is they'll take the trade the other direction as an incentive to take out the stop losses, and then of course capitalize off the liquidations, make more Bitcoin, and then make more profit in addition to that. And a lot of times what you'll see is these double top patterns where it'll make a flat bottom and then it'll make sort of like an M or a W formation. And a lot of the times what you can see there, if it's significant in direction, it's very indicated, is you can actually see the change of money happen. When you see a consistent buy-in of a price and then you see a sell and then vice versa, that's basically money changing hands at very high levels. So sometimes you can actually see the moves played out by the exchanges. That's something I look for continuously on the the 4 hour, the daily, and vice versa. And that's how we're able to catch these these trades and get people out of trades, probability wise before they come into play. Usually we can see these things happen, days, if not weeks out in advance. Like if you look at 11.7K, and then furthermore to the left, that's a complete double top structure, and vice versa. Those type of things, we look at the higher time frames to indicate the probability to capitalize, as well as go defensive if we need to, if the market does look like it's going to do that turn.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. And, what's really interesting about the current sentiment of the market is we're seeing so much advancement in the technology of all of these projects. Most of these projects are a lot more mature than they were in December and January, where the market had a $800 billion market cap versus a $200+ billion market cap. And what's interesting is we're almost in that Warren Buffett situation where there's that quote that says, Warren Buffett, he invested in Coca-Cola when it was crashing. And when a reporter asked Warren Buffett why he invested in Coca-Cola, he said it was because Coca-Cola hadn't changed fundamentally, but the price was low. So to him, it was just a discount. And because of that, he was one of the largest shareholders of Coca-Cola and one of the most successful investors today. And, I still see that with this market. Bitcoin is still limited. Ethereum is still a great platform. I think in the top 145 of the coins are built on Ethereum, right? So knowing that this technology is more mature than it was previously, but the market in a technical sense is lower, gives me a little bit of confidence in the fact that, buying right now may not be the best opportunity in the short term, but aren't you still bullish on the market long term, or do you see a different perspective?
100%. I'm extremely bullish on the market in the long term. Right now, what's happening essentially is adoption's coming into play. Like you said, blockchain is on a bull run. It has been for the last 18 months. It's just the price is indicating differently on the chart. So every single day we see a new investment firm come into play. They start purchasing stuff. They purchase an exchange. Circle was one, and furthermore, the technology is getting fine-tuned. It's really just about the price stabilizing and then institutions coming in. That's what we're looking at right now.
So you think price stabilization, you think consolidation is going to be a good thing for this market?
100%. It's healthy in every market. Unfortunately, what usually that does is if the price is extended in one direction, it usually causes it to come back into one direction and vice versa. But when the market is the way it is currently, where it's unregulated, the best ways to make the moves are to basically play the swings right now. When the price is extremely extended to the downside, that's when you buy. When it's extremely extended to the upside, everyone's greedy in the market, or that's when indication of greed comes into play. That's when you sell out until we keep playing these bounces. But 100%, I do believe strongly that this market just needs to consolidate to levels that everyone is comfortable with, and it's going to sit sideways more than likely. And then that's when you might more than likely see the regulation come into play. And as soon as regulation comes into play, that's when the big institutions, funds come into play. And when that happens, there'll be an extreme surge in prices. It's just simple, market math. If trillions of dollars enter this market, it's going to enter in one or two ways. It's either going to enter in alts, or it's going to enter into BTC, which is going to enter into alts. So it's really a long-term play. Day by day, this is all micro, but the macro of the market definitely is still bullish, in my opinion, especially year after year. We're up roughly, even day by day, we're still up roughly about 0.45% since 2010. So it's just all about surviving the swings, having fiat available, and capitalizing off these discounts so you get in the best levels and let the price come to you.
Absolutely. If you guys are watching this live, feel free to use the chat to ask questions, because I think your insight is extremely valuable, and you have, a really, really good head on you, man. And that's why you're part of the Sniperstube team. And, I agree 100% with everything that you're saying. And what I think is going to happen in the short term, in my opinion, we may see a bull trap occur. I think you mentioned this as well, Kyle. And I think we'll find resistance along the previous support of that wedge, and we may see further decline. I think that's really what the short-term outlook is most probably going to follow. I mean, what is your opinion on the short term right now in terms of price levels?
Yeah, short term right now, I'm waiting to see if this price structure is going to hold. Like I said, I'm very cautious at buying right now. If I were to buy, it would be with a small stop. Even if I were to get in, if the market were to turn bearish and it was going to be fierce like yesterday, it's very advise to be cautious, and if you are to go in the market, to go in small, because those trades that happen where it went down $500 in one hour candle, a lot of the time when selling pressure comes like that, there's an extreme amount of sellers and a very small amount of buyers, which then gaps the stop losses and vice versa. So if you are to take a trade, that type of thing, just know, or rather to position small. It does look like it is cheap right now, but at the same time, we have to be cautious of the downsides, looking at the monthly chart and looking at the structure being created. So the bounces that usually happen in this market are usually very significant. If we were to have come down yesterday at like 6.6, make a $400 or $500 bounce, come back down for a retest about $200 from the low, that's when I would be considering to buy. But more than likely, what we'll see here is we'll see either a false move up and then back into consolidation. We might hold for a couple of days, maybe even potentially up to a week, and then reverse if that's going to happen. But right now, I'm very cautious. I'm letting the market give us data before I make a decision on entering. I think that's the best way to plan your trade. You could always buy in now, buy in small, and then furthermore, if it dips, you just dollar cost average. You go in with a small position now, and if it dollar cost average a position, it comes lower, that position will supersede your first position, because your first position will be small in percentile. So let's say it were to make a dip or something like that, you were to dollar cost average with a significant amount over the first position, that would then move your entry price up into the market and vice versa. So
Absolutely. I love it. And if you all want that type of analysis on a daily basis, we actually post daily market updates. And if you guys want to receive that, you can go to patreon.com/snipers. And if you're a gold member, you get daily market health updates, airdrop alerts, fundamental analysis, and a lot more. So thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and your insight. We'll all see you on the Discord, man. I really appreciate you and your awesome analysis. And we'll talk a little bit later, brother.
I appreciate it.
Everybody, did you guys enjoy our analysts? Everybody's saying yes, yes. Somebody said no. Somebody said yes. Give the video a like if you guys enjoyed his presence in our show today. Vinci says yes. Kaylani says yes. Crypto Rising says, thoughts on John McAfee running for president of the United States to raise awareness of crypto? Is he just chilling to line his own pockets or for the community? I personally think John McAfee is somebody that just looks for attention. What do you think?
I think he 100% is in it to line his own pockets. I mean, we've seen that over and over again with the investment decisions he's done. But at the same time, he probably will bring awareness to crypto at the same time. So it's like hand in hand. Agree
Absolutely.
nor disagree.
Adol Aziz says, I always listen to him on my way to work. Well, how do you feel about that?
It's grateful. At the end of the day, I'm in this market to trade as well. So I mean, it's very powerful to be able to help people save money in addition to make it. So we know a majority of people are buyers in this market, not a lot are shorters or sellers. So at the end of the day, we look out for patterns that indicate the shorts. To protect you guys, and that's why we'll do 1, 2, potentially 3 market updates a day. If needed, if the market changes sentiment, because this market does move extremely volatile, and it's very hard for most people to analyze this market and analyze the volatility that's within it. It's basically the most volatile asset in the world. I mean, at one point gold was like this, but that this is the new age gold, so the dark gold, whatever you want to call it.
Absolutely, yeah. I love it here. Adol says, we want to teach TA classes for us or signals and explanation. We're actually going to be releasing a crypto academy soon, so that's going to be exciting. And outside of that, I mean, if you guys have any more questions, put in the chat. Let's see here. Somebody says, market bearish for the next 1 year and 2 months until BTC ETF is announced. Pedro and Hebes. What do you think about the BTC ETF announcement?
Yeah, that's definitely another step towards the direction. What I'm doing right now is monitoring the monthly chart. That's going to give me indication once it meets a certain level, if that happens, if it does come into play, where we could potentially reference it sideways, have a lot of regulation come into play, and then that's when I'm looking for the best opportunity in this market, because once regulation comes into play, we won't have to worry as much about all these market swings. There'll be a lot of liquidity, so when a zone gets hit, a lot of the times we're not going to see a big drop afterwards, or when a stop a stop loss gets hit for the sellers, we're going to see a huge rise. So it's good and it's bad, right? If you can buy and sell this market, it's great if you know where the entries are, you know where the probabilities are. But for some, it's a very hard market to stomach at the end of the day. So that's why we're here. We're looking for opportunities to capitalize, and when the market does come to us, we're looking to make significant gains, and vice versa.
I love it, man. Absolutely. Somebody just asked, where could you hear more of this guy? I explained that 3 times already. So this is how the page looks. If you go to patreon.com/snipers, the link is in the description. We have different memberships. If you guys want airdrop alerts, that's for rubies. For golds, we do daily market updates, trend signals, long-term signals, and that's all going to come from our analyst. He is one of our analysts. We have multiple analysts, including myself, and then this is all going to be done on the Discord platform. So you can also join the Discord for free. The link is in the description below, and get access to all of our tools, trading patterns, helpful reads, resources, and things like that. So thank you so much, man. I appreciate your presence. You're bringing good vibes to our stream, and I think that the market, once again, in a fundamental sense, is healthier than ever, but in a technical sense, we are seeing some short-term decline, and it's just a matter of how far we're going to go until we start to see some consolidation, some consistent price action for us to then be more confident in the upward trend towards the next level and the next phase of this market. So thank you all so much for tuning in to Sniperstube, and if you guys enjoy this video, like the video, subscribe if you haven't already to our YouTube channel. We try to post as much content as possible for you all. And until our next live stream, thank you all for tuning in. Snipers out.